Welcome to TMZ Live. Cardi B is one of the most effective witnesses in an assault case in which she was found not liable and walked out of court and immediately committed an assault.
On camera with plenty of witnesses. But yes, she won the civil suit. By the way, do you want to go ahead and pat me on the back, or it's all right, I'll do it. Yeah. I called this last week and you said I was exaggerating. I said after that testimony where she was going,
that.
I said,
no, you're wrong.
This is...
I never
I said she just charmed the pants off of every single juror.
I agreed with you. What are you talking about?
Well, good, that was smart of you. There you go. You get a pat on the back.
Oh, my God.
But
anyway.
Yes, she won this case where a woman had accused her of assaulting her at a doctor's office.
And made a ridiculous claim of $24 million.
$24 million.
Which, by the way, lost her all her credibility as far as I'm concerned.
You think that hurt? That's part of what hurt her with the jury?
I think it's part of it. It's like, are you kidding? This is a money grab.
Well, Cardi walked out of court. This was actually right before the verdict. So the jury was deliberating. She came outside during a break and got a question from someone there that...
And it's going all over the internet right now. There are people who think Cardi B is pregnant. And somebody dared to ask the question. Watch what happens.
Insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect me.
I got another marker, Cardi.
Cardi, your court look is amazing. Who are you wearing?
I still love you, even though you just threw some stuff at me.
I don't care. You're disrespectful. Don't do that. Do you see women asking those type of questions to me?
No,
you see women asking those questions to me?
It's legit.
Why do you feel as a man you got to ask me those type of questions? Act like you have some manners. And your mama taught you, respect women.
I gotta say, what I didn't know until you just said it, I thought this was after the verdict.
No, this was...
You don't want to do that before the jury votes.
Well, the jury was already deliberating, so they wouldn't have known it anyway.
What if they didn't decide?
They wouldn't have known it anyway.
If they didn't decide that day,
right,
and they went
then
home and looked at it, it's not a good thing.
As it turns out, it didn't matter because she went back into the court and then they came back with a verdict.
It didn't matter because of what you guys are talking about. She is the most charming witness that you can possibly have. And the fact's really in dispute. We know there was a bit of an assault. The question is, was the jury going to find her liable for it? And there was no way, to your point, after she got off the stand, that was going to happen. I don't care what they see after the case after the case is over. Now, I do think she runs a risk in the next time she's sued of having all these various assaults.
Well, throwing the microphone in Las Vegas, then the pencil.
She did acknowledge after the verdict that she has a reputation for sort of being a hothead.
She's got to say well-earned reputation. I love her, but she's a hothead.
She copped to having a reputation, but said, this is a warning that this verdict should be a warning to anyone else who ever wants to sue Cardi B.
Well, and it should be a warning to anybody who would dare ask Cardi B whether she's pregnant or not.
Yes,
that's for sure. So last night, and I think this is all part of it. So last night, she jumps on social media to kind of celebrate the verdict in a Cardi kind of way.
It was a celebration / promotion for a new song called Bodega Baddie. And the outfit is really puzzling people. What's going on there?
Look, I mean, the bottom line here is that celebrities can have an advantage. You know, I started a show in like 2002 called Celebrity Justice. And because I was fascinated by sometimes celebrities are treated better than the average Joe, sometimes worse in court. And in this case, when you have, when you're beloved and you are authentic and you get on the stand, it's a huge benefit.
I mean, they get a head start, right? I mean, they're going to get a benefit of the doubt.
I'm trying to think of a situation where it doesn't work out.
You know who screwed this up?
Yeah.
You know who really screwed up?
Who?
The plaintiff's lawyer.
Yeah.
To take a shot and say, do you change your hair every day?
Oh, yes.
As if you're changing your story.
Right.
And she's like, it's a
wig, bro.
and it was a cheap shot that totally backfired.
Although she fields it so brilliantly and just gives it right back.
No, it was great.
She's great.
But I think I think that was a massive screw up.
Well, to your point, the $24 million ask was really the screw up. It should have been $240,000. Then maybe she has a chance to have some sympathy with the jury. Maybe they give her 20 grand or something like that.
$2,000 and go to Judge Judy.
Yeah.
One of the brilliant thing that Cardi did off the stand, which you'd have to say is somewhat Taylor Swift inspired, she has taken images of herself on the stand and is now using them as album art for like alternate versions of her new album.
Can I tell you what this smells like?
And she's selling it as the courtroom edition.
You know what? Do you know who the OG is doing this? Seriously? It's Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Donald Trump has a picture of his mugshot outside the wall of the Oval Office.
Yeah.
And he framed it and put it in the wall.
Well, this is not a mugshot. This is just her on
I
the
understand,
stand.
No,
but
he's wearing it as a badge of honor, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
This is Mackenzie in Newtown. Maybe I'm like a blindly loyal Cardi B fan, but I think that if there's one thing Cardi B is, it's honest. Like, she's claiming up and down that she never touched the security guard. There's also no one from the doctor's office witnessed it, and they all testified that. I also think that if Cardi B did put her hands on somebody, like we just saw it outside of the courtroom there, she would at least partially own up to it because, like you were saying, it's part of her persona.
That's a great point. I never thought of that. You're right. That if this came out during the trial, she'd say, yeah, when I do it, I'll do it publicly. I'll talk about it.
Right.
That's a great point.
Well, it didn't take long for Sydney Sweeney to find a new suitor. Not that we thought it would after she...
A new scooter? A new suitor?
A scooter? Scooter?
So, yeah.
Sydney Sweeney and Scooter Braun are
dating.
An item.
They are dating. And what's interesting is they met at Jeff Bezos' Lauren Sanchez wedding in Venice. And what's really interesting about it, because we were all over this, Sydney was staying at the Gritty Palace Hotel, which is a fancy schmancy old hotel there, one of the landmarks of Venice, along with Orlando Bloom, Scooter Braun, Tom Brady, and a bunch of others. And they would party there. And what we were told, and we talked to people who were there, who said nobody was hooking up with anybody, and everybody thought if anybody's going to hook up with Sydney Sweeney, it's going to be Orlando Bloom.
It's going to be Brady or
Bloom. Or
and
Brady.
in fact, there was talk that they were talking to each other, but no one said they hooked up.
And they just like drank and partied and danced and did whatever. But we were told there was no hooking up or anything like that.
And then enters the undercover Scooter, swooping under the radar when everybody was looking at Tom Brady and Orlando Bloom and these guys. Look who ends up with the girl.
So
there's one piece of video of them walking around Venice, and even that didn't look like it. It just seemed like a bunch of friends walking around.
Full disclosure.
Victoria's already with them.
Full disclosure. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe they did hook up in Venice and nobody knew.
Oh, no, I think they did. Well, they at least
hit it. They at least hit it off. And since then, they've gone on multiple dates. So what we're told from multiple sources is that it's casual. They're casually dating. So I don't think.
But that's called dating.
Yeah, but I don't think that it's like boyfriend and girlfriend or they're being exclusive with each other. But they've gone on dates and clearly I mean, the interesting thing is he's obviously a super successful guy, right? Super successful, super rich. He's pretty charismatic. He's good looking. But you
a little bit older than her.
A little bit older, but her
ex
fiance was older than her as well.
She's 20 what?
27.
27.
So she's 27, but I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it?
He's always been good about at least getting back and, you know, or even saying, look, I can't talk about it or whatever. He will not call me back, and I'm doing this to shame him right now. Because, honestly, because...
This is not going to work.
It could be one
I've tried 20 times, and just to say, look, just say hello and nothing.
So it could be one of two things. It's either one, they are really dating and he doesn't want to talk to you about it. Or two, he wants people to know that they're dating.
No, what it is they're dating. If you were dating Sydney Sweeney and you thought
just stop talking. We could just end it there. You don't need to do anything else.
Fair enough.
At this point, it feels like Sydney Sweeney's entering her villain arc. She is not for the girls. There's truly not a worse person in terms of all the girls on TikTok and on social that she could be dating other than Scooter Braun.
Why? Why?
Wait, she's a villain and she's dating Scooter?
Why?
Because the Taylor Swift of it all, the Justin Bieber of it all. The girls are not for Scooter Braun. There's nobody worse that she could pick.
He's not a monster. I mean,
when you say the girls, so do all the girls have to follow along with whatever Taylor Swift feels?
Not necessarily, but
well, no, but you know what you're saying? You're turning her into a cult leader. If you're saying that if Sydney Sweeney is dating somebody she doesn't like, then you don't like them. You're turning Taylor into a cult leader if you feel that way.
I just feel like Sydney has kind of developed this whole narrative around her that she's not for the girls. It's very, she was written for a man vibes.
Are girls all feeling the same way about everything?
I would say most girls feel the same way about Sydney.
The girls. The girls. Following their leader.
The girl.
Following their leader.
Coming up.
Well, they have one hell of a work release program at Brooklyn MDC, apparently.
Or they have a fabulous backdrop for modeling.
Because Luigi Mangione popped up in a modeling gig. And of course, as soon as people saw this pop up on Shein's website, they went crazy.
Be right back.
Well, they have one hell of a work release program at Brooklyn MDC, apparently.
Or they have a fabulous backdrop for modeling.
Because Luigi Mangione popped up in a modeling gig. Yes, the same guy who is awaiting trial for the murder of Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO, and who is now currently sitting at Brooklyn MDC, ended up in this ad for Shein. And
full disclosure, we are guessing Luigi did not actually pose for the picture.
Correct.
But somehow, that's clearly Luigi's face. And the way you know it is, look at the eyebrows. The eyebrows are so distinctive. It's Luigi.
100% his face. And of course, as soon as people saw this pop up on Shein's website, they went crazy. I would imagine there are some people who actually bought the shirt, but I think more than that, based on the company's reaction, what they got was a ton of backlash. Or people felt like this was completely inappropriate.
So now the question, did the company know? Because the way things work right now is that there are a million ads out there and you got to cut through. You got to get noticed. American Eagle did it.
With Sydney
and they
Sweeney.
did it brilliantly.
Right?
They did it brilliantly. And you create some controversy and you get trashed a little bit, but your brand gets out there. So now all of a sudden...
But do you own actually using the image? Or do you, I don't know, blame?
Did
or
American,
do you just blame
did American Eagle
owned it? Yes.
No, they didn't. Did they ever say, yeah, it
well,
was...
they said that's not what they were doing. And you can debate that.
No, you can't. Because
of
then
course you can debate
then
that.
Then it's not controversial. If you really didn't believe it, then you fell into it.
But you can't actually believe that
you can do a double entendre thing where...
Well, it was a double entendre. Right. But what I'm saying is, they're saying, Shein is saying, we didn't...
Well, this was their statement about taking it down now. They said, the image in question was provided by a third-party vendor and was removed immediately upon discovery. We have stringent standards for all listings on our platform.
Which, if true, how did they not see this come in?
Big and deep.
I mean, you're young and you might buy this.
Buy it?
Are you buying that they didn't know and it's some third-party vendor that puts their ad out?
But they're not like eBay. I feel like they have their own
You should explain that because honestly, I don't really understand what Shein is. Is it like a?
It was a big thing when I was in college. Yeah, it's just very affordable. I think they're based in China. Not 100% sure if they pull from other factories.
So it's kind of like in the vein of Fashion Nova.
Yeah, but
I know that one.
Well, wait a minute. Are they a foreign company?
I don't know.
So they might not know who Luigi is.
Are they based in China?
They are based in China?
Yeah. Yes. So they might not know who Luigi, but still, you see that image.
I mean, hey.
So then you'd say it's
Cameron,
possible.
can you check if Shein was based in China?
Yes. Singapore.
Yeah.
They're based in Singapore.
What you're trying to say is it seems incredible, if not just completely unbelievable, that
how did they get Luigi?
Well,
that his image would be used and they wouldn't know that it's Luigi.
Yeah.
Although if it's Singapore and their decision makers, they may have just said, "Oh, that's a good-looking guy."
That's the thing. Shein is a brand that has its own identity by far. They know what they're doing. Like, They're
But
all
they're
over,
such a
they're
big
all over
company.
TikTok. They have influencers.
Yeah, but
promote for
Jackson,
them.
they know that they're a big company. However, they're still, like, their headquarters are based not in this country. So they might not even be paying attention to Luigi Mangione.
Or it's a great way to get their name out there again.
By the time that the ad got to the United States, the people,
What's the process?
I mean,
of once
it is
the image
possible.
is created.
There may be a notorious dude in China that we don't know, and we market a shirt or something in China, and somebody has a picture and says, "Oh, that's a good-looking guy," and they put it up.
1,000%.
I guess it's.
But how do you get that picture? You have to AI generate it. I mean, they have
the third party could have
It would
AI
be
generated.
an insane coincidence.
I'm Brianna Nunley, and I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I was actually one of the photographers that got to shoot Luigi in New York City, so I definitely recognize his face. That's definitely not his body. With Shein being such a fast fashion company, though, I could see them producing a lot of different clothes all at once and not really paying attention to the ads they put out, causing this issue.
Wait a minute,
You said you were a photographer. Where did you shoot Luigi?
The perp walk?
Yeah, I got him in like the red sweater, like that walk through like in the courthouse. I was next to the New York Times photographer, actually.
Okay.
Are you freelance?
Yeah, I was freelance in New York before I came to Orlando and started doing freelance like here at home on TikTok.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay. Taylor Swift playing the Super Bowl halftime show. Maybe. At least that is what the commissioner, Roger Goodell, is saying. But I think
don't know. That's not fair. We don't know what Roger Goodell is saying. He is waffling.
Well, he was grilled about the Super Bowl halftime show when he was on the Today Show this morning. Try to read between the lines here.
Is Taylor Swift invited to play the Super Bowl this year, the halftime show?
We would always love to have Taylor play. She is a special talent, and obviously she would be welcome at any time.
Is it in the works?
I can't tell you anything about that.
Is it a maybe?
It's a maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll take a maybe.
It's a maybe.
Okay.
At what point can we expect a decision to be announced?
I'm waiting on my friend Jay-Z to be able to help me with that one. It's in his hands. I'm waiting for the smoke to come out. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. But you're a Swiftie. Team
I'm
Swiftie.
definitely a Swiftie.
He said three different things. First, he said she has an open invitation, which means if she wants to do it, she's doing it. He changed it then to a maybe, and then said it could go either way.
He had
and
to
then
say
the third,
maybe.
Hold on, and then the third thing he said is it's Jay-Z's decision. So it's like they've decided already.
Well, that's the maybe, right?
Yeah, but if he's saying
the maybe is if I can't steal the thunder, Jay's going to make the announcement.
They picked Taylor.
But obviously,
Jay-Z
doesn't make the announcement on his own.
There's zero chance that, as powerful as Jay-Z is, there's zero chance he's making the decision without
Roger Goodell.
No way.
And,
There's no
and,
way.
and the decision's made. If he's the first thing out of his mouth, which is the thing you believe, is that he said, if she wants to, we'd love to have her.
So what he's saying is basically actually what he said is.
So it's hers.
What he said is if she doesn't do it, it's on Jay-Z. That's basically
It's
what he
all
said.
right, don't blame me.
No. He said, as far as I'm concerned, she has an open invitation. She can come anytime she wants.
What he's really saying is it's all up to Taylor Swift. If Taylor Swift says yes, the answer is yes. Taylor Swift would do it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a done deal.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense this year. We don't even know if he's going to play next year. I mean, he might be done,
Travis.
right? So
Travis.
Right. So it's a lot better if he's a player, if he's playing in the game. I mean,
Makes
it's like
for a better story.
Right? She's got an album coming out.
It makes so much sense.
It all makes sense.
It's going to
Listen,
be her.
I'm on the record saying
You think it's going to be her?
Yes,
By the way,
I'm on the record saying it's her.
Last year with
I was on the
Kendrick,
record first.
they
Don't try
announced
to
it on the
jump on me.
8th.
I said it first.
They announced it on the 8th last year, so I think this announcement is coming very soon, like days.
On the 13th, watch. And by the
If it
way,
is, then-
wait,
if he's going on the Today Show, he knows this is
Yes,
coming up.
yes.
And that's why he went on the Today Show.
By the way, the football season starts tomorrow. Nobody's saying anything.
I'm sure they talked about that.
Well, what did they say?
Nobody knows.
I don't know.
Exactly.
They're going to play football.
Exactly.
Hey, it's Becca Berger from Warwick, Rhode Island. Of course, we'd all love to see part-time Rhode Island resident Taylor Swift doing the halftime show. And Roger Goodell is a Swiftie. Look at all the new faces that she brought to the NFL. And if at this point, if she doesn't do it, who else would?
It's Taylor.
My question is, would the NFL and Jay-Z announce it, or does she do another countdown like she's been doing?
No. They'll announce it.
Yeah, they'll definitely do this.
They'll
they have
do
to because of their
It's going to be
partner, Apple
Jay-Z's
Music
going to
and the whole
make.
thing.
Jay-Z's going to do it.
Coming up.
this whole thing over the weekend about President Trump being dead. It just seemed absurd. And then you start thinking about it and you go like, well, wait a second.
He was in front of that camera every single day. And then all of a sudden, last week, he is absent.
I think this might be a little wish casting from some of President Trump's enemies.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. Well, it definitely seemed like the most ridiculous story to be swirling around the White House since President Trump got back in office in January. This whole thing over the weekend about him being dead. It just seemed absurd. And then
you start thinking about it.
Then you start thinking about it and you go like, well, wait a second. He
was in front of that camera every single day. And then all of a sudden, last week, he is absent.
Goes off the radar.
For 6 days.
So here's what he said about it. Obviously, he is trying to shoot this down as being ridiculous.
Well, the way to shoot it down is to say something.
Yeah.
Because you can't if you're not.
Last week, I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape.
Yep, always throw a little zinger. Throw a little zinger and throw people off the path.
But it's
I'm telling you, I think there is good reason for this. Obviously, he's alive. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about whether or not this was an absurd rumor.
Well, and also whether there was a health issue, because he was his habit was always in front of the camera, and there is some smoke.
Yes. So let's to discuss the smoke and maybe get to some fire. Our good friend Michael Knowles from the Michael Knowles Show joining us once again. Michael, welcome back. I mean, you must have been on the edge of your seat this weekend. Wondering if
I was so nervous when my wife brought this to me. I hadn't even seen it yet. She goes, "Did you see it's circulating that Trump is dead?" I said, "What?" I looked it up and I saw all the evidence that Trump was dead. And the evidence was that around Labor Day weekend, he went away and like golfed or something, and he had a bruise on his hand. And I think, well, that's not good. You don't want bruises. I mean, I get bruises. I'm still alive. And I tried to find more evidence. And that was all the evidence. And I thought, you know what? I think this might be a little wish casting from some of President Trump's enemies. They tried to imprison him. They tried to get him off the ballot. I think they said the last thing we can hope for is that he's finally just gonna go off.
Well, but wait a minute. I am not among that group if you're talking about it. But
no, not you. Not you. Some of his much meaner enemies.
But number one, he started this with Biden. So he started this whole death watch thing with Biden. That's number one. Number two, he is in his late 70s. He's the oldest president ever to be sworn in. He has ankle issues where his ankles are swollen. This bruise is not a minor bruise. It is a big bruise on his hand. He has not been transparent with his doctors. He wasn't transparent during COVID about how sick he was. And he's in front of the camera every day, and suddenly he's not.
He set the standard, right? He said this when he came in office, that you're going to see me all the time. And he set this standard of, I'm always going to be out here. And he has been, to his credit.
And then all of a sudden he's not.
He makes his cabinet meetings, a big presentation, a TV show.
So that's
and
not
then drop off the radar for 3 or 4 days.
And that's not a death wish.
3 or 4 days. You got to give me a breath. 3 or 4 days. I mean, I get it because he has been on camera basically every day of his life for like 40 years. But you mentioned the cabinet meeting. I was actually with him in the cabinet meeting. Somehow I found myself. I was in the cabinet meeting.
What do you mean you found yourself? You didn't just
made a wrong turn.
Hey, I'm in the White House.
I'm in the cabinet room.
I'm looking for E Street. Okay, I'll end up. No, I did. I was invited. I was actually the first podcaster ever in a cabinet meeting. Very transparent, obviously, with the media. I'm standing there, some friendly media, some hostile media. This thing goes on for 4 hours. This is just last Tuesday. And I'm looking around at the cabinet secretaries, most of whom are much younger than the president. And, by hour 3, some of them are looking like they could use a nap. They've kind of had enough. Trump just keeps going and going and going. And I think this is what really shoots
But wait a
it all
minute,
down.
was this all in front of the camera?
Yes.
So it's not
The
really a
whole
cabinet meeting, it's a photo
It's
op.
a TV show.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
He's doing The
listen,
Apprentice.
Harvey, it's transparency.
Okay,
if you
good.
don't want
so
democratic
where
accountability,
was he when he's gone for a day and he's old and he's got bruises and he's got ankle issues and he has not been transparent with his with doctors? Why shouldn't people start wondering?
Look, had he still been gone this week, had he still not done any news conferences, he did, I think, post a picture from the golf course. But this shows you how transparent the White House has been, how vigorous this guy's been, how much more energy he's got even than his younger colleagues, certainly than the last guy who was basically a cadaver in the White House. The fact that he goes away for a few days and he's not holding news conferences every day and you think he's dead, to me, it kind of proves the opposite. It just shows this guy has an insane amount of energy. If the best that the Trump warriors have is a bruise,
or
good
something
luck.
happened, Michael. We don't know.
What do you think happened?
I don't know. Maybe,
Since we're just
maybe he had a
speculating, what do you think
medical
happened?
issue.
We keep throwing around this word transparency, and this rumor proves exactly the opposite, that people don't believe there's transparency.
I would not expect the presidents ever to be transparent about their health. I think they cover it up all the time. They've been covering it up for 100 years.
Do you believe his doctors, both the first term and this term, have been transparent about Donald Trump's weight?
Oh, yeah. What are you talking? No, listen, it's
Michael.
What are you talking? Don't you see the memes where he's got the big pecs and the abs? Guys, no, I'm telling. Listen, I guess I'm actually kind of agreeing with you in a sense. What I'm saying is the starting point should be that the presidents of both parties are always going to try to put out the best face, and they're not going to be totally transparent. So the only way to test it is to actually see the guy on camera and in audio. And with Trump, whether you love him or hate him, and actually a lot of people are upset about this, he is out there all the time.
Last thing, I got to know now that you said it. So you're in the cabinet meeting, and he talks to the cameras for 3 or 4 hours. Did they do business afterward? Was there an actual cabinet meeting?
Yeah, of course. Look, the proof of the pudding is not on TV. The proof of the pudding is in the tasting. And right now, the deportations are going well. Global affairs are going relatively well. The economy is still good, despite what the economists are predicting. Yeah, clearly business is getting done, guys, even if you're not seeing it in the cabinet room.
Yeah, just
on Main Street.
Don't make a wrong left turn next time. God knows where you'll end up.
God forbid I end up at the Capitol. That would be much worse.
Oh, God.
All right.
Okay,
All right,
catch Michael's show.
Yes, you can catch Michael on the Michael Knowles Show on Daily Wire Plus. And, of course, you'll see him back here.
Thanks, Michael.
Good to see you guys.
Coming up.
Eddie Murphy has a very big influence over Druski. Based on this new skit that he just put out, he went out in whiteface and went to a NASCAR race.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Pretty clear that I think Eddie Murphy has a very big influence over Druski. Based on this new skit that he just put out, and I'm dying to know what social media thinks of this, but he did something that Eddie Murphy very famously did.
What I think of this.
Or what you think of it. How ominous. Many, many years ago, I was young, Eddie Murphy did a skit on SNL.
It was a different time.
Where he dressed up in whiteface, essentially, and went out around New York City. And basically the skit was to point out how he was treated differently because he's white instead of black. Druski decided to put a twist on that. He went out in whiteface and went to a NASCAR race and basically played up every stereotype possible about Southerners, hillbillies, NASCAR fans, right down to the tan lines on his body. So watch this. This is Druski in the makeup, pretending he's a white hillbilly NASCAR fan.
Here's the love, here's the honor. If you can't enter, honor. Yeah! lost, boss?
No, I'm going to the race.
What race?
NASCAR race.
You going to NASCAR?
Yes, sir. A little bit.
You ain't lost, is you?
No, I'm good. I'm going to the race, sir.
Sure about that?
Yes, sir.
Find something safe to do, boy.
There's a different tone to this than the classic SNL thing that I'm talking about, where it was talking about society at large, right? And I think there's a better point to be made. This one,
he's mocking a group of people.
This is mocking a group of method acting. You know, like calling it whiteface, that's just generic.
Well, what
You
if
know,
they what if they method act in blackface? What if they somebody method acts in blackface?
Then they would method act in blackface.
And that's okay?
No, it wouldn't be okay.
it wouldn't be okay.
Is it okay for a black person to method act in whiteface?
We've been through this. We've been through this
majority rules
in numerous times.
We have been through
this.
It's okay for them
the
to be
difference
lampooned in
is
this instance.
one is the majority and one is the minority.
Are hillbillies?
It's punching down.
Hold on.
As opposed to punching up.
When you take back road people,
you're right. That's why
that's not the majority.
That's why this one is a little less, because you could say that poor white people. And I don't what I don't like about it is it does. The part that I find troubling, because having been a NASCAR fan, I haven't been to a race in a long time, but having been a NASCAR fan and been to races, that is a stereotype, right? Yeah. But the reality is, at least that was very rarely was my experience.
But even if
actually it never was.
It doesn't matter. Even if it is the reality, you know, you're mocking.
Look how well he blended in. Fine. No one was offended. No one looked at him like, "Hey, this guy's."
Well, they don't know he's in whiteface.
No, they don't know. They don't know.
They don't know he's in whiteface.
I got it. By the way, we're talking about the content, but just the makeup. The makeup's pretty amazing makeup job.
It's just
so
the tan.
There was a book. There was a book I read when I was a kid in the early '60s called Black Like Me, and I believe it was a New York Times reporter, and he put blackface on, and he was walking around New York.
The skit was played off
of that.
Yes.
And it was, and he wrote a book about it, and it was how he was treated differently when he was a black man, and he wrote a whole book about it. You couldn't do that today, but that was not done in a.
Hold on. Why couldn't you do that today?
I think he'd get trashed if he did it today.
Why couldn't he do that? Because the point of that book.
I know what the point is.
The point of the book was to show that it is harder to be black in America.
I agree with you. All I'm saying is that when you start mocking hillbillies or Southerners or whatever else, really, spitting on the ground and doing the whole thing. Sorry.
Now, hold on a second. But you want to act like that doesn't happen? Now, like I said, in full disclosure, I've been to a NASCAR race, many of them, and that never happened to me. Do I think that that's ever happened to a black person at a NASCAR race?
Of course it does.
Okay, so what's wrong with pointing it out if it does happen?
Because you're not pointing it out. You're basically trying to reinforce something that's really negative. You could say the same thing about a white person putting blackface on and doing something that's a, quote, stereotype, and to show, that this is what happens. It's just not done anymore.
You do understand the difference between someone like you putting on blackface and me putting on white makeup. You don't understand there's a difference, right?
I see the difference.
Okay.
But when you're,
but hold on. You see the difference. That's it.
But
that's all.
But hold on.
That's it.
But no, it's not it. When you're mocking somebody and you're denigrating them, it doesn't matter if they are black or white. There's no pass on that if you're mocking them.
I'm not going to try to have the last word because you clearly will not let me. So you got it.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, it's AF, currently down in Florida. I have no idea why Druski's getting any hate at all. I literally think that this is one of the funniest things ever. Like, I don't get the hate whatsoever. People are just way too sensitive these days with everything.
Well, that's the other thing, too, by the way, which is the other way of going is just to say, as long as it's in good fun and it's not, demeaning or degrading or anything like that.
I think Druski would say he's doing it in good fun.
Then can that work on both sides?
Coming up.
Well, the delayed Michael Jackson biopic, it features Holman Domingo playing Joe Jackson, the patriarch of the family. And he credited Paris Jackson, Michael's daughter, for being, quote, helpful with his portrayal. Well, if that happened, Paris Jackson has zero memory of it.
Be right back.
Well, the delayed Michael Jackson biopic, I think now they're saying next fall is when it's going to come out. It features Coleman Domingo, the award-winning actor, playing Joe Jackson, the patriarch of the family. And he did an interview talking about this role, and he credited Paris Jackson, Michael's daughter, for being, quote, helpful with his portrayal. That article did not go over well with...
And not just helpful guidance. Guidance sounds like she is guiding him through the process.
Well, if that happened, Paris Jackson has zero memory of it, and in fact, really went after Coleman Domingo for presenting it that way. Her response on social media said, King of Bingo, that is Coleman's handle, don't be telling people I was, quote, helpful on the set of a movie I had 0% involvement in. LOL. That is so weird.
So that's really interesting. Now, this movie is authorized by the estate.
Correct.
And
Paris she acknowledges that she saw a script and that she gave them, the filmmakers, some guidance on Joe's portrayal, things that she felt were dishonest and were not the real Joe Jackson.
So Coleman could be saying that I used those notes as helpful guidance in helping me figure out who Joe is. So in some ways, you could see him saying that.
You could see both.
Yeah, you could see both.
However, the article has now been changed since Paris's protest. The article headline is now changed to say, Coleman Domingo says Prince and Paris Jackson have been lovely to him in making of Michael Jackson biopic.
Now that's kind of weird, because if he said it, why would they change it?
Right.
Why would they change it? If he said that, and really, now that you think about it, it could well be that he interpreted the notes to help him guide the portrayal of Joe. For me, the bigger thing is, how are they going to portray Joe in this thing? How are they going to portray Michael in this? The estate has a real point of view on the Jackson family, on Michael, on Joe, on all of the brothers and sisters, on everybody. And the estate has a financial interest in this. So, are they going to get into how brutal Joe was to the kids, how brutal he was to Michael? Will they get it? And will they get into his brilliance about how he guided them? How honest
and I wonder
and
what it was
balanced
that Paris saw that she felt was wrong, because she doesn't. She doesn't reveal that.
I'd love to know that.
But I would love to know what she saw that she saw was
I would love to know
off.
that.
Antoine Walker out of Atlanta, Georgia. I just think it's very odd for Paris to say that on one hand she had zero involvement, but then go on to negate that and say that she gave notes in the early part of the script. It had involvement. Not making much sense to me. Then also, I think it's very irresponsible and quite frankly, really tone deaf to say directed at a film that has a predominantly black cast. He was a phrase such as, not my monkeys, not my circus, especially as a white presenting woman. It's very just irresponsible and inappropriate. I find it very weird.
Yeah.
Using her terminology, her wording.
Yeah, that was, she had more that she said on social media, including, like you said, not my monkeys, not my circus. Her description of this production.
Right. I got to say, I'm going to be fascinated to watch this.
Yeah.
Fascinated.
When and if it ever comes out.
Coming up.
Charlie Sheen's life is about to be the subject of a new book, a memoir he's written, and as well, Netflix documentary. But we found out something that actually is not going to be featured in the documentary or the book.
Be right back.
OnlyFans, legit or destructive? Step into the world of OnlyFans
Watch the money go up throughout the day. It's a beautiful thing.
as current and former models square off.
I made over $1 million.
It's a cold world, it's a nasty world, it's a dark world.
TMZ presents The War Over OnlyFans. Stream on Hulu now.
Charlie Sheen's life is about to be the subject of a new book, a memoir he's written, and as well a new Netflix documentary. And both promise to go over his entire life, warts and all. We found out something.
We spent, by the way, years chronicling Charlie's life, and especially, the rocky part where I don't remember anything quite like that.
Down.
Yeah, totally melting down. But he has really had a resurgence, in a really personal way. I actually saw him and spent a couple hours with him a year or so ago, and he's turned his life around. He really has.
And I think you're going to see that sort of the rise, fall, and rise, as we say, of Charlie's life. But we found out something that actually is not going to be featured in the documentary or the book, as far as we know, although I'm not positive on the book. Charlie was an incredibly generous and charitable person at the height of his career in Hollywood. Talking the 2.5 Men days when he was the highest paid actor in the history of television. He was giving away huge amounts of money.
He was giving away somewhere, we're told, between $26 and $30 million. And what's interesting about it is he insisted that it be done anonymously. And
had his people making the donations.
He made it clear to his people that he did not want people to know, that he didn't think charity was something you brag about, it's something you do.
Hey, it's Gigi from Montreal. And yeah, it's funny because Charlie Sheen, we know him from his wild persona, lots of women, the drugs and all that, but it shows you celebrities like regular people are multi-layered, and he had this great side to him. And I love that it was anonymous, makes it even more special to me.
It really does. I agree with you on that.
The layers. It's all about the layers.
Yep. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Hi, my name's Rodrigo. I'm from Dallas, and I want to talk about Taylor Swift potentially doing the halftime show, or more likely not doing it, since she's so busy planning a wedding. Plus, it'll be very awkward if the Chiefs don't make it this year and she's performing. Yeah, I really don't think that's happening.
Okay,
I disagree. I think that's why
planning a wedding.
Yeah, wedding planning. That's not the.
One more.
Hi, I'm Ash from Atlanta, and regarding the Cardi B trial, to be honest, this case felt like a complete waste of everyone's time. Imani Ellis said that she was glad she had her moment in court. Girl, if by moments you meant spectacle, then congrats, because you nailed it. Because from the outside looking in, it read less like justice and more like a desperate reach for attention.
Well, if it was, I guess she did get that attention.
She got the attention.
Didn't get the 24 mil.
Didn't get
or
a
even
penny.
A cent.
Didn't get a penny.
Coming up.
Want to see a holy roller?
You want to see a Pope go hog wild?
You can see both. Because Pope Leo the 14th got a visit from a biker gang.
Be right back.
Want to see a holy roller?
You want to see a Pope go hog wild?
You can see both. Because Pope Leo the 14th got a visit from a biker gang. I'm sure they call themselves a biker club, but it just sounds better when you say biker gang.
Well, how about the Jesus bikers?
The Jesus bikers rolled down from Germany down to Vatican City and presented Leo with his own BMW bike, a cruiser. And I think he's giving it to charity, right?
I think he's giving it to charity.
It.
But he went on it, but he's side saddle, which is kind of weird. But
yeah, I was like, come on.
But
I don't know if he actually rides.
I don't know if he rides, but just the idea that he did it. He connects with people like no pope in my lifetime. I mean, people are really...
Hold on, there have been a lot of popes in your lifetime.
A lot of popes, but never an American pope. Never an American pope.
American pope, that is true.
I've outlasted a lot of popes.
I don't know if that's a good or bad. I guess it's good.
We'll see you tomorrow.